Miss Phyllis Tribby is going to talk to us all about club coaching. She's been a club coach for a few years. She may tell us how many years that she has been a club coach and why I believe that she is the best person to present this material since she's seen the old, the new, the good, and the bad. So without further ado, let's introduce Miss Phyllis Tribby, DTM.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, I have done coaching for a few years. I was actually taught the old FAST program by Bill Jackie when it first came to our district. So yeah, I've been around a few times. I've been a coach successfully 4 times, one not successfully. And I have taught at least 45 people how to do coaching, and many of them have used it as their stepping stone into Distinguished Toastmaster. I have a presentation, as I call it, my notes. So I'm going to pull that up right now and let's go over it. Let's see if we can get this to come up. Okay. Here we go. Does everybody see that? You know, one time I was talking away and finally at third slide, somebody said, "Are we supposed to be seeing something?"
Yes, we can see that.
Although I just hate it when people say, "Can you hear me?" I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I am just really thankful that all of you have come tonight to get some information about Club Coach and what are the benefits. Some of you just want information to store. Others are thinking about Club Coach. Would it be good for my club? And then there are a few of you out there that say, Club Coach, maybe I should give that a try. Whatever the reason that you're here, I'm grateful that you're here tonight. The Club Coach, this is added information that I got from Bill Jackie way back when. The information does come directly from Toastmasters International. And what they're telling us is that clubs lose members. That's just a fact of life. It happens over and over again. But that you have 60% of your members attend and all of your roster is filled, you need to have 30 members in your club to successfully fill the roster. The average turnover is 40%. Would you have believed that? 40%. Wow. You take 0.4 times 30, that's 12 members a year or 1 a month. So in order for you to keep your standard, keep your club alive, you need to get those new 12 members. 25% of the visitors actually join. That's 1 every meeting. So if you have 30 members, then each member needs to bring in 2 guests a year. But how many clubs do we have that have 30 members? 3, 4. So we need to double our efforts. We need to keep inviting people, more and more people. The clubs actually need your help. And somebody is always saying, well, what's in it for me? And I think back when I heard that first phrase, and I'm saying, people helped me without getting any credit. I was a person that sat in a corner. Someone invited me to Toastmasters for 7 months, and it changed my life. So I believe that I was helped. I should help others. And the clubs do need your help. If you're thinking about a club coach for your club has to have 3 to 12 members. It cannot currently be suspended. You cannot have more than 2 coaches. But here's the new one-liner that they have added. A club officer must complete the club coach program training in base camp. Now, it says pathways, but it is nothing like pathways. I want to tell you that it'll take you about a half an hour. You strictly read the paragraph, answer a multiple choice question, submit it. If you got all the answers right, you go to the next paragraph. If not, you take it over again. And it's not a problem. It's a very easy course to do. So I don't want you to not have a coach because you don't want to go through this program, because it's very easy. There's no speeches. You do it all by yourself. You submit your answers, go on to the next paragraph, and when you're all done, you have completed the coach program. So please think about doing it. Just because it's there, that's always a possibility. What are the club coach requirements? This is some new angles that they have added in since I've trained on club coaches, and that is that they cannot have been a member in the past 6 months. They have to have at least a year's membership with Toastmasters. They need to be a club officer for a year, annual term, or 2 semi-annuals. They have to complete it level 2 in a path. Now, this is very simple. It's like 1 path, level 2. That's not much of a requirement, really. You just practically have to be a Toastmaster. So many of our Toastmasters would qualify for this. I know they talk about if you're looking for your Distinguished Club program and you've completed 1 whole path and you're halfway to the next path, you should go into thinking about some of these extra things that have to be done. But club coach can be done anytime. Once you get your point for club coach, you've got that point. It's like I've got 4 points in club coach unused. If I wanted 4 more DTMs, I got the point for club coach in there. So think about that and do it now, because now's when we need help. You have to have completed the club coach program training module in base camp. And it's the same one as the club officers do, and at least one of them have to have completed that program, and you have to have completed the program. The new coach has to have completed it before you can be assigned as a coach. What are the rules? There are lots of rules. You know, how do we get away with having so many rules? But the rules are that you have to give at least 6 months of service. What this means is that you walk into a club, they were already working hard, and they took your excitement and they went with it, and within 3 months, they're distinguished. Do you quit? No, you have to give 6 months if you want to have the club coach credit. On the other hand, if you work your 6 months and they're not successful and you want to go on, you can have an additional 2 years at being that particular club coach. You can only coach 1 club at a time. You cannot be a member of that club as long as you are assigned as their coach. There are now preliminary reports, 60-day reports, final reports. all of those as your club coach chair I would have. So all I need is someone to ask me for them. But of course, everything is downloadable free of charge from Toastmasters International. There's also a little extra, which is second to the last line here, that you can get district leadership credit if you happen to get that club up to 20 members. So maybe you've reached distinguished. You don't stop. You keep on working with them. And if you can get them to 20 members by June 30th, you can also receive credit as a district officer. That means you do not have to be an area governor, division governor. You get the credit that they would have. So if you can get your club to reach distinguished status, what is that? A net gain of 5, and at least 5 of the items on the club list, the distinguished club list, then you've reached the goal. And if you keep working with them and you get them to 20 plus, then you get your credit for being an area director or whatever directorship. So it's a good deal, but it's a rewarding deal, but it's not always the easiest deal. So what does a coach actually do? A coach is actually a mentor. They should know the DCP program. They're there to excite people. In your mind, when you walk in, no matter what's happening in that club, you have to know they're going to be distinguished. You have to have energy in your body when you walk in there. You're their ideal person. You give them ideas for what changes they can make. You're always leading by example. You are a visitor, always a visitor, never a member. And I've underlined this, not a dictator. You do not go in and say, well, if you want to change, this is what you have to do. No, you cannot do that. You have to have gentle persuasion. I've seen this done at such and such club. It worked really well. What do you think? Think we should try that? Or I love open houses. How about if I work and help you get an open house going? Give them ideas. Do not demand that they make certain changes. It never works. Who's going to do all the work? Well, the club officers and the members are a rescue team. They're working together to help this club gain membership, or for whatever reason why their membership is low. The club coach acts as a helper. They work together, avoid telling them what to do or criticizing what they do to help them with ideas, support, positive. It's like giving an evaluation. You want your evaluation to be positive and come back with people that want to redo it again, not that it'll never happen and run away. So fill the roles, give supportive speeches. One of the things I learned very many times is that I tell people about easy, gentle persuasion. I use it frequently, gentle persuasion, but some people have a strong, this is the way it should be. This is the way it's done at my club. My club's got their 20 members. This is the way you should do it. Well, not all clubs work in that manner. It's better to work with the club and let them take the lead with some of the ideas that you have. One of the things I highly recommend is for each coach to go to the club, visit a few times, see if you fit into their organization. How are they doing? What if you said, who's in that club? Are you going to be able to get along? From what I've seen with Toastmasters, I think we all bond together. But, there's just different things that people sometimes do not agree with, unhappy with. Maybe I wouldn't be that good in a cooking program or one that's writing a new book, but I might be great if they're going to make a quilt. So I might fit different places. And it's always great, I think, to visit a couple times before you say, yes, I'd like to be the club coach here. And the next thing goes for the club. The club should want you as their coach. It works so much better if everybody's happy with the person that they have received. The first thing I think should be worked out is moments of truth. I'm sure all of you have done moments of truth. It's recommended to be done in each club every 6 months. Guy Dawson once conducted the moments of truth for our club, and he did it in 3 meetings because we had so much interaction going on. And that's the thing that you need to get going in that club. Each one of those members has an opinion as to how things can change. And you need to get that working. And moments of truth is one of the best things to find out what's the first impression. What was your first impression when you walked in there? Do they have a new member orientation? What's their communication? Are they just sitting around staring at one another? Are they all talking about doing things? Are they planning programs? What's the straight? How are they going to accomplish things? So the members need to work at this together. Yes, you are to give them ideas and help them along. And once they have a program, kind of be sure that they follow along with it. Gentle persuasion again, folks. I can't say it enough. I've only had one person that I got called about that was not gentle in what she had to say. So I think that it works best. So determine what the problems are. One of the problems I found at a club I went to, the membership was low, is that when you got there, you had to go in the front door and people were parking in the front. But when you left by a side back door where all the lighting was. And then you had to walk around to the front, which was pitch black. And it was kind of eerie, and there was lots of weeds, and not my ideal thing. And I said, you need to tell people when they're coming to visit to park on the side. It's a simple thing just to say, okay, and our parking lot, is on the back side of the building, rather than and walk around the front to come in. Because it was just a little scary. And I thought people that may not want to come back if they thought they had to do that at all times. So there are so many things that chase away prospective members. So you need to be thinking about what that is and recommend ideas. They tell me that low membership is a symptom of a problem. And I've looked at this line and looked at this line and looked at this line. And sometimes I wonder if that's actually true. When you have 5 or 6 members and all those members come every single week, how could it be, they're happy with it. You got 6 out of 6 people coming, yet you're not getting new members. So you kind of wonder what it is, but you want to improve the quality of the meetings. And one of the things that I really love is called the Club Quality Checklist, another downloadable item from International. And I often recommend to my club coaches that are in training is that they take that and actually do it themselves for a reference. Go through this list and see what it's similar for questions as the moments of truth. It's about 3 pages, and you can check each and every item off and see where you place it as a new to that club visitor before you take over or become the club coach. And it helps you to know what's happening as a club coach. What are some of the things that can go wrong? As I say, easy access, steps. I went to one meeting that was upstairs. Worst staircase I've ever seen, and no railing. I was happy that I was not going back. I was just visiting. But there are things, and I think that when you do moments of truth with your clubs, then these little things can come out if you take the time to call on people. Sometimes what we find that we have newer Toastmasters, that's true, and they don't speak up like us people with 20 plus years. So you need to call on them and say, what's your thoughts? And, it happens to get the information out there. What is it that is happening in that club? And I think the members know, but sometimes it's difficult to pull it out of them. One of the things that happens is, are all members present having the opportunity to participate? And I talk even to my own club, because we do have many new members, is that Table Topics is the time to call on people that do not have a role or have a very minimal role, so that when every member that walks into that room has the opportunity to speak at that meeting. I was at a meeting one time, and the only talking I did was before and after the meeting, none during the meeting. And I just kind of felt left out. So we want all of our people to have the opportunity to participate. So this could be another program, another thing that you might want to work on with the club. Are we having any fun? Yes, we have a lot of laughter going on, and I think that that is part of the meeting. So be sure that you're not too strict. I know some Toastmasters want it all rigid and by the book, but it's okay. We had a speaker today go over 2 seconds. And one was saying, oh, she knows she's over. She can't participate in best speaker. I said, quit being so hard on him. It was a great speech. 2 seconds is 2 seconds. Let her try and win this. Let's not be so hard on them. We want everybody to be happy and participate. And if there's a challenge about who's going to win the best speaker of the day, then everybody should be participating. You know, if it had been 30 seconds, I'd have thrown it out, but 2 seconds, come on, let's be positive and help everybody be a winner. Guest, how do we treat our guests? Warm welcome. Are they introduced during the meeting? Are late guests introduced? Guest packets. Do you give them information about Toastmasters? Do you ask them to join? I mentioned a guest packet. I want to tell you that I think Las Vegas Storytellers is worth going to just to get their guest packet. It is a #1 plus. It starts out with a welcome letter. It has all their officers with a color photo. It has Toastmasters has many jobs, so each role is explained. The benefits of Toastmasters, it's just an a #1 guest book or guest packet. So if you don't have an idea of how to get one together, that's the place to go. Get theirs. You know, there's no sense of inventing the wheel when they've got an excellent one, and I'm sure they send it out. So I'm sure they would want you to use it if you wanted to. Do we have somebody that helps our members, the new people? I've often seen guests sitting alone, not being talked to. This cannot happen. You need to be with those guests. You need to talk to them. You need to sit with them. Somebody needs to be there to show them the agenda and answer their questions personally. There's a great webinar on the District 115 by Sherry Parker, Meeting Members' Needs. I can recommend that to everyone. This is just a list of some speeches that I recommend for club coaches to give. They need to give speeches. They need to do the educational minute. They need to keep things moving, ideas, and that's where they can put forth ideas. The Distinguished Club Program is always, always something that needs to be talked about. When it's time to elect officers, maybe it's the club coach could do an officer roles and explain what each one of the roles is. The agenda, volunteer, do the roles the best your ability. The contest, well, we always have to have more information on contest, because what happens, many of our new members get voluntold into being in contests. So be sure that they understand it. And this is another speech that the club coach could give so that they understand all the progress and all the just everything about club, the contests, pathways. First Monday of the month, let everybody know it on that Monday that they can go in and listen to information and get their questions answered about pathways. Taking the fear out of speaking, choosing a topic. Some people have no clue where to go on choosing a topic. So it's just something that the club coach, speeches that the club coach can give. And if you have some members that have been around a while and don't have DTM, maybe talking about the Distinguished Toastmaster Program might be something for them. So overall, what does a club coach do? You build a rapport with the club's leaders and members, assess the environment, observe, analyze, come up with this plan, a solution, and not just you do this solution. The club leaders, the whole club has to have a buy-in into whatever that plan for reaching their goals is going to be. and then inspire those changes. Install enthusiasm, loyalty, and a sense of responsibility. This is their club. They need to work with it, and they need to make it happen. But with your ideas, it will happen. I feel the club coach program is a great one. You know, it's a visitor going in and helping out with fellow club members and the club to be distinguished. It works well. Think about being a club coach. Some resources. There are many materials on the international website. The Moments of Truth, the Quality Checklist, their district webinars. There's just so much information out there. I can't list it all. But if you have an idea of what you might want to look at, TI has it. Maybe the district website has it. But I can tell you that the club coach training is not hard. Go in and do it and see what you think of maybe being a club coach or inviting a club coach to your low member club. I will take questions. Is there any questions? And I'm sorry if I speak too fast. Nervousness.
Phyllis, you spoke really well. If you want to take off your screen share, your PowerPoint, very good. I do have a question. My question, I have a lot. I actually have like 4 questions. My question is, first, number 1, does a club have to request the coach? Can the district or the area directors go in and say, here's a club coach, or a couple of club coaches will come and sit at your meeting to see if it's a fit? Can we do that? Can we assign people to do that?
I don't know that I like the word assign. Yes, absolutely. Okay. How would this club realize it if they didn't get the information from either the area director or someone from your team? So they need to know what's available. And I don't see anything at all wrong with that. And I saw nothing in the information that I was given that, you know, you can go in and tell them, we've got this opportunity. Would you be interested?
Okay.
I think that works really well.
I think that might work too. If we could get a team, right? A bucket of people, members who are ready to be coaches would be a great thing. So that's where I'm thinking right now in my brain, that we have some people online that can take this information back to their clubs and say, hey, you can get your credit, first of all, towards Distinguished Toastmaster, and you could look like a rock star with recognition to be able to get these clubs back into good standing. I know Alan is here, and he's from Henderson Toastmasters. And he has a good group of members. How many members do you have?
Well, we have the same challenges on turnover, but I think currently we have about 23.
So they have 23 members. What was your lowest membership? Do you know, like the past couple of years?
Yes, in the past couple of years, we went down to about 12.
Okay. And what have you done to revive your club? Did you use a club coach, or did you get together as a group with the officers and the members and say, hey, we've got to do something to make sure that these roles are always filled up?
We did several things. I mean, we're fortunate in that my wife, Dorothy, I think many of you know, and I are both distinguished Toastmasters. And fortunately for us, we've been in Toastmasters a long time. So Phyllis, we've been there with you before. We have coached several clubs in several places. And for us, we realized that we needed to get the right leaders in place for the club. We didn't want it to be us. We always wanted it to be, you know, people coming out of Henderson Toastmasters. So we really focused on getting the right club presidents in place. So we felt all the members would respect and that they would have the time to lead the club and set the example with us in the background helping and coaching. And we've been very fortunate over the past several years that we've had some excellent club presidents. And that has helped Henderson Toastmasters enormously in terms of keeping the numbers at 20 and above. We've been as high as 30, but you know, again, we all suffer the same thing. So that was a key thing for us. And then what we tried to do was encourage the club presidents and the officers as a whole to work as a team, but to not let things slip. Simple things, making sure everyone is actually signed up in pathways and that we can get credit. Secondly, making sure that we coach people to make sure that they fill in everything after they've given the speech, so the club can start seeing that they're making progress and that then we recognize that progress. So recognition, we agree entirely, Phyllis, Dorothy and I, recognition is so important that people can be seen to be making progress and that they are, you know, following the Pathways program and being encouraged to do that. But the other thing that we see, if it slips, then the club will struggle, is mentors. And especially mentors for new members who come in and who can be a little bit lost and all these same questions that Phyllis was raising. How do I start? What topic do I choose? I'm nervous about getting up there to speak. What I've got to give, you know, 3-4 speeches to get this level 1, you know, what's involved here? So we now actively assign mentors, and their first goal is to get that new member through their level 1, so that then we've got a chance that not only have they got a sense of achievement, but that they want to continue at the club. And importantly, again, as was pointed out, that they're having fun. So it's simple things, working with the officers to make sure they don't let things slip and start going under the radar. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges with a club that has been coached well and they get them up to DCP, they get them up to 20 members. It's not always wise to step away too quickly as a club coach. Maybe to sit back and just make sure that everything's sustainable. And that maybe is the other thing for a club coach. Don't step away too soon. If you've got success, hang in there a wee bit longer and just make sure it's sustainable. I've said more than enough, but certainly at Henderson Toastmasters, it's those little things that have made a difference to the club, and the club has been presidents distinguished for, I think, the last 4 or 5 years, and will probably be so again this year.
So my question follow-up, thank you, Alan, for that information, because that was definitely noteworthy. My question now back to you, Alan, is that you do have a good group of people. Would you be able to encourage them also to maybe look at being club coaches?
There are several people in the club who I think would be ready to take that sort of role on. I mean, of course, everyone's busy, but there's a couple of people in the club almost certainly with encouragement would consider doing that. Okay. I won't name any names here, but I can certainly share those names later on. And I'd be more than happy to have a chat with those individuals to assess when they might be ready to do that. But certainly I'd say we've got at least 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, it would be nice to, my goal is, of course, to get people to, well, help build up clubs and get their DTMs. I want definitely,
right.
Especially if in the future that I may be the district director, I'd like to have some DTMs come out of my my leadership. So that would be kind of cool. All right. Well, thank you for that. And thank you for your consideration of reaching out to your members as well. Mm-hmm. And then Jan also has a club that she belongs to that is a good club member strength. And Jan, what do you think that your club is doing? And perhaps maybe we can grab some couple of club coaches from there as well. That's my thought process.
You know, we have a core group in our group in Saturday Morning Live
Mhm.
that they are consistent. They've been involved for years. And so that's the strength of the club, really, that holds the cohesiveness together. And then, but we struggle, you know, even, I mean, we've had membership, like, I think last year we went up to, I think we were at 36 members. Right now we're down to about 24, I think, but we just, you know, we added on a new member this past weekend. And I think you have to pay attention to those, you know, the individuals, and you have to find whatever somebody's strength is
Mhm.
in order to get them to, you know, to be able to participate and to do, you know, you really have to focus on that. It's hard to find people. Some of the more, like, I was a club coach a couple of years ago, and we were not successful. But our biggest challenge was location. We didn't have a stable location, and they wanted it to be a dinner club, and you know, we couldn't find a place that would, you know, we couldn't get enough. We were at a point where we were starting to gain momentum, and then we got kicked out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. So
Yeah.
location is identify locations for those clubs that are struggling like that want to have a location,
Mhm.
and you know what their goals are. But the goal in the club that I coached, their goal was to, I mean, they really wanted to be a social club,
Mhm.
but you know,
And
that
like,
was the biggest.
Toastmasters social, can have social hour afterwards.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know, location is a hard thing to find. I mean, Henderson Toastmasters is at the same location as Saturday Morning Live,
Mhm.
and it's a great location. So if you can find those spots,
Mhm.
you know, then to build momentum you have to invite people. The way our club really got to build momentum is the club members. We would tell people every time we were together, bring in one guest, and you
Mhm.
will be surprised that some of those guests that you don't think are interested will be interested.
Mhm.
And
Now, and that's one of the things that Phyllis said, is that everybody was responsible for bringing a guest, you know, or should be, and you're getting one guest a month or one member a month, and it helps with the rotation of the members. So
actually,
now,
we did do that when I was club coach before. You
mhm.
know, I had people, I said, you know, make sure you invite somebody. It doesn't matter if you don't think they're interested. You never know who's interested and who's not.
Correct. So, and we're just giving ideas as people are thinking about being coaches, like how are we going to do this, because of the fact that it's the same thing that we run in all the time, right? Like memberships, guests, venue.
Well,
Now,
you got to have your ABCs in a row, and location is one of them.
yes. So Etta was a club coach just recently. Etta, were you last year a club coach? I can't remember.
Yes, last
Yes.
year.
All right. So what was just your, how do I want to say it? What was your biggest challenge, and what was your biggest achievement as a coach, club coach?
I would say maybe my biggest challenge was just getting on the Zoom at times. I had some problems with my internet computer. And my biggest achievement was come distinguished.
Okay. All right. And then we have, thank you for that, Etta.
I would say my biggest is, I'm sorry?
I was saying thank you, but you had more.
It's having it. It's having it. I would say it was just a great experience. My biggest achievement is eventually I had did a speechcraft at the same time, and eventually getting my DTM in August of 2022.
And that's where the next chapter of our meeting is going to focus on speechcraft and how it could be combined as well. So I have Elizabeth, which I don't know her Toastmaster journey. And maybe she's not on.
No, I was just going to ask what the question was.
Oh, I don't know anything about you, so I don't know where you are in your Toastmaster journey. Are you thinking about being a coach, or we're just on just to listen, or does your
No, I was on because I was thinking about being a coach, but it seems as though because the clubs that I've belonged to have been very small, with the exception of when I first came to Vegas. I was a part of Saturday Morning Live, but they were the exact opposite. They were very traditional and rigid, so it didn't really appeal to younger Toastmasters, which is why I left. But because I've been in two small, both with Star Masters and now with Central, we're struggling with membership. So that's why I wanted to explore the coaching. But I think our struggle is simply there's too much competition. It really is. It seems like we all are competing for the same membership base versus trying to find new outlets and new members. So that's really why I was attending, to try and identify if a coach would actually benefit our club, which at this point it doesn't sound like it would.
The next session is going to be on speechcraft, so it may be something that you may find interesting as well, to be able to grow your members.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is, so I'll probably stay on just to hear what that is, because I joined Toastmasters on and off because as a corporate trainer, I have to go through certifications, and to sharpen my skill set, that's when I join a club.
Yes.
Because part of the certification is we get to record ourselves. Isn't that lovely? And we send our tape out to the global training community, and they get to grade us whether we're doing well or whether we're doing really poorly. So that's where Toastmasters helps me specifically with things such as projection, hand gestures, eye contact, the flow of speech, the cadence of speech helps me. I would just really like to know or get some ideas as to when we're recruiting new members, we need a niche. It's almost like every single club needs a specific niche. I think Grand Central Toastmasters started because it was in the county, and it was the county building, and it was, it may have been a closed club at one point that opened up. And then as far as Toastmasters, Jesse's got was part of the founding membership, but I believe that was just around for a really long time on evenings during the week and kind of appealed to the business aspect of it. So yeah, sticking around for the 7 o'clock session.
And
tools.
To go back to where you were saying that we're pulling out of the same pool of people and we need a niche, and that's where the culture comes from, right, guys? That it's a different culture. Everybody has a different culture, and it's definitely up to the club. And when you're doing the moments of truth, and I was thinking when Phyllis was talking about the moments of truth, it's almost going back to basically rechartering your club, where what is our club about, right? And why are we here? So you have a group of people, 6, 8 people, and you have to think about that and who's your target. So if it's accounting people and you started off as accounting, then why aren't you going out and getting more accounting people or county people, or why aren't you going out and getting more car salesmen, something like that, in that effect of how your culture is. So Kimberly, I haven't heard anything from you.
Want to
Are
hear?
you just listening? Kimberly is my fellow TMKer.
I'm not trying to be a coach at this point, but I am interested in speechcraft.
Okay. All right. And then we have Jan.
Okay, so I do want to say last year our club grew from 12 members to 36. And, of course, some of those dropped off. But one of the things that we did was we planned our schedule. We put out a schedule, and every time the schedule changed, we would hand out the schedule. Every time the schedule changed, we would update it. And we did a lot of fun things because I felt like it was just too dry. You have the Toastmaster agenda, the standard Toastmaster meeting that you go through, but we mixed it up to make it fun last year. And so we had a picnic, we had table topics marathon, we had things like that, we had open houses that we turned into fun events, and we grew. I couldn't believe how quickly we grew, but it's so difficult to maintain a large membership like that, because it requires experienced people to work with those people, to work with incoming people.
Yeah.
Plus, we did orientations every single week that we met. There was an orientation available to new members. But that was one of the ways that we grew our membership so quickly. And, of course, we have lost, I don't know, we lost a fair number of people.
Yeah.
But when a couple of people I called, because I had worked with a couple of people, and so I asked that question, is why did you leave? And don't feel like you can tell me, because it's not going to hurt my feelings. We want to know for the future what we can do differently. And the feedback that I had was the rigid, it can be rigid, or you have a few people that I don't even know how to describe it exactly, but you have to be careful about how you say things, what you say to people. And we're there to basically help them, not hinder them. And if they can walk into a fun, open environment, it's a lot easier to deal with and deal with their particular. You got to know why they're there.
Yeah.
Why did you come? And what do you want to gain from it? And the same thing with the club coaching is you have to know what it is that the current members want.
Correct. And, these are good tips also for coaches as well. And that's why I'm asking these questions, so that if any of you decide to be a coach, Kimberly or Elizabeth or Cynthia, or even myself, then you understand the reason. I see you, Phyllis Wall. Then you understand the reason why, or what you should do as a coach. Yes, Alan, I'm getting the red card from Phyllis Wall.
Yeah, all right. Then one very final quick comment. One of the most interesting things I ever learned as a coach was what's in a name. And we were at a club that was really struggling, and they were called the I can't recall that. I think they were called the Marketing Masters, and they've been called this for a long time. And lo and behold, a lot of people would shop and say, "Well, we're not sure if we want to be here because it's for marketing, right?" And we thought, okay, well, maybe we need to go to a different name. And we changed the club's name with their officers' agreement, and lo and behold, their membership and number of guests exploded. we were lucky. It was just one of
Yeah.
those things. But sometimes it's just small things like that when you're trying to understand how to attract new members, that maybe a change in a name, and of course making sure that the attitude of the officers and having fun is spot on. But just it's small things sometimes. It's amazing.
Yeah, we definitely have to remember that as we're going through doing assessments. And like I said, it's almost like rechartering, and what dynamic does your club want to take? So
Yeah.
this, I'm sure, will be on the website, this section, or distributed out, especially to the area directors and the division directors, because we have to get these clubs back on track. And we have, how many people do we have in this city? And we're part of Utah and out in Laughlin. We have what, 2 million people to actually choose from here. And we only have a membership of 800, if that many. So there's more than plenty of people to be able to be in our pool of membership.